Greetings, brothers and sisters. So I'm going to start with JoJo Magoo here and then end with him after I go through the headlines. This is just too funny to leave out there. Two of my viewers sent me this at the same time. And then there's a speech he gave swearing in when he was giving out the Medal of Freedoms, which is stupid. The Medal of Freedom. Well, anyway, it's just some bogus, and I just looked at the speech. I didn't see any of it yet, but I have a feeling there's going to be some funny things. But this is from his Roe v. Wade Supreme Court speech that he gave.
It is noteworthy that the percentage of women who register to vote and cast a ballot is consistently higher than the percentage of the men who do so. End of quote. Repeat the line.
Repeat the line. What's it again?
Power. It is noteworthy that the percentage of women who register to vote and cast a ballot is consistently higher than the percentage of the men who do so. End of quote. Repeat the line. Repeat the line. Repeat the line. Women are not without electoral and or political or maybe precise, not and or political power. That's another way of saying that you, the women of America, can determine the outcome of this issue. I don't think the court.
Now, it seems that he read repeat the line. Obviously, he's reading off a teleprompter, so that would be the only real explanation, that he didn't just say repeat the line on his own, or that there's somebody with an ear, talking in his ear, and they said repeat the line. Those are maybe the two explanations. But the thing about it is his gaffes have gotten so bad and everything has become so normalized that it will make a difference, right? He has a crackhead son, who impregnated a stripper named Alice from Arkansas. And so, the information on JoJo Magoo, I don't know what it would take. Remember when Trump said that he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and he wouldn't lose any supporters? Well, JoJo Magoo could do even worse, and the press and the media won't cover it and won't say, hey, this guy's got dementia. He's just falling apart mentally. That's why I want to get to his other speech, and I haven't even seen his other speech. I was going to do that before a couple of my viewers sent me this. I was thinking his speech would be, I haven't, done one of his speeches in a while, but it's always loaded with miscues and, look at the guy. Look at this confused look on his face. Most of the time when you stop, here.
Political or.
Boom. Look, a confused look.
Maybe precise.
Another confused look.
Not and or.
Another confused look. Look at the guy.
Political power.
A confused look there. He's just because his eyes are confused. There's nobody home. There's nobody home here, right?
That's another way of saying
another confused look.
You, the women of America, can determine the
another confused look.
Outcome of this issue.
Look at him. He just looks like he's lost. Some kid who's lost doesn't know where he is, right? But, because there's nobody home. But we'll come back to him, right? We'll just start off here. Repeat the line.
Repeat the line.
Okay, so I got a bunch more stuff to get to. I'm going to stick this in somewhere. I forgot to cover this, but it's probably better that I just do this with a voiceover. So the Georgia Guidestones, I've seen lots of memes from people who don't believe that it was the truth community, which I agree with. There was some on Facebook, and then there were lots of comments. And, I just had a few more thoughts on it. The Georgia Guidestones look like something that was built to be destroyed, right? The Georgia Guidestones, it's like when I talk about the UN. So the UN might have 70% approval in a country, or in America, for example. It's got 30% disapproval. But the 70% approval know nothing about the UN and don't care about it. They're not doing anything with the UN, but they're like, I think it's a good idea, but they have no passion, right? So it isn't like a real 70% approval where they know about it and they're passionate. But the 30% disapproval of the UN, people who feel that way are very passionate about it, right? They're very, it's a complete difference. There's more passion in the 30%, 5 times more passion in the 30% than in the 70%. you know, you understand this, and energy and, things like this. It's the same thing with the Georgia Guidestones. The only people who go and visit the Georgia Guidestones are truthers, you know, like in people who are maybe in the right wing, but everyone else doesn't care about them. They're not, they weren't in some, I mean, I never went there personally, but as I understand it, they're in some rural place. There's nothing around it. They're not that impressive. And so sheeple aren't going to the Georgia Guidestones. It was one of the things that, was very seldom anybody was even there, right? And so the people that go there and know about them and feel passionate about them are truthers. The only thing this registers with, the story registers with, is truthers, right? And so it is, whatever's happened here is done for the truthers. They were built for truthers. They weren't built for the sheeple. The sheeple aren't using them as commandments, and we're looking to the Georgia Guidestones for guidance, right? Who was looking for the Georgia Guidestones for guidance? I mean, that's what they're supposed to be, like the Ten Commandments sitting up there or something, right? Nobody was looking at them like, oh, let's live the way the Georgia Guidestones tell us to live, right? And so, this is something that they were built for, something like this. And I don't know, it doesn't even move the needle. It's not even something that's being focused on, right? Like, maybe they said one thing about it. I mean, you can find it if you like, if you find it on the internet, but it's not a top story, and they're not dwelling on it. And, if it was destroyed by people, like that's an act of vandalism, could even be considered something worse, right? And, they're not even, I mean, it's not bothering with it, right? It's a story that they're just letting go. But the thing to remember is the only people who cared about the Georgia Guidestones were truthers. They're the only people that cared about it. They're the only people that probably even knew about it, right? It's like one of those things where like, oh, you guys hear about the Georgia Guidestones? Like it's a family eating, and there's one truther or two truthers, and there's 15 people eating, and they're like, what are they called? The Georgia Guidestones, and then the truthers just go on a rant, and everyone's like, oh, here you go, here we go, right? And so whatever's being done here, whatever reason the Georgia Guidestones exist, it's for truthers and right wingers. It was built either to provoke you or whatever reason. It wasn't built for the sheeple. It wasn't built so that sheeple would, listen to whatever's being said. The Georgia Guidestones, the oracle for sheeple is the TV and the internet, right? That's what they worship. That's what they bow before, right? That's what they're being programmed by. They're not making a trek. Like Guidestone isn't the truther, isn't the sheeple mecca, and they're all going out there to worship them. They don't care about that. They never, they're dispassionate about the Guidestones. No one's crying over the Guidestones being destroyed. And so, they were built for a reason, and the only reason could be to provoke the sheeple, right? No one was going to, look at some random stones built by, anonymous, whatever it is, to, to guide them, right? All right, speaking of something useless, let's go check out Kim Kardashian here. One of my viewers sent me this. This is Kris Jenner. This is the Kardashian mom. And just a long list of stuff that she's shilling for here. But this was the image, not this one, but this one. Hey, dude, what's up? What's up with this dude? Boom, this allures thing, and then boom. I don't know. There's that. All right. And so this is Kris Jenner. This is her Instagram. All their Instagrams look the same. I mean, she's got for family she features here, but it's the same old stuff. She shills for their products. And this was from the New York Post. Kim Kardashian explains why North held stop sign at Paris Fashion Week show. She wore this Madonna dress, right? And apparently there's that. Is that her name, Wintour or something? Then there is her daughter held up the sign that said stop. And she wrote, this is from her Instagram. For anyone who knows North knows how funny she finds the last slide. Keeping Up with the Kardashians alum wrote, she wrote this, North, I guess, has had it with the people taking pictures. And so she wrote, on her invite, stop and held it up and wanted them to just focus on the show. She was tired of taking her picture. They didn't want to take her picture, so she held up stop taking my picture. Like, that's not why your mom brought you along. I mean, they live to get their pictures taken, right? That's their, 100%, most of their life is to get their pictures taken. And so, North for President, one Instagram user wrote, and the other called they're an idiot. But, it's not going to do well in that family if she doesn't want to get her picture taken. Aaron Rodgers debuts his first tattoo, says he won't share the meaning just yet. Yeah, it looks kind of Illuminati. First tattoo from the GOAT himself. I don't know who the GOAT is. Must be the GOAT of tattoos. But it is a couple of lions, an Illuminati eye, some star constellations, a body of water, and whatever that is there. Is that a fan or something? But it looks pretty Illuminati, right? Like, I don't need him to explain it to me. It's, there it is up close. You got multiple pictures. All right. So that's Aaron Rodgers. Martha Stewart jokes she wants her friends to die so she can date their husbands. Well, there's always truth in every joke, right? And so Martha's hired up for a date. I guess Snoop Dogg dropped her. And so now she's just waiting for she's waiting for her friends to die so she can date their husbands. NASA warns pressure tests this weekend will sound like an explosive boom. NASA will be conducting a pressure test in Houston on July 2nd and is warning that it might sound like an explosion to people nearby the vicinity. Between 8 a.m. and 12 p.m., the pressure test will occur at the Energy Systems Test Area, the Johnson Space Center. The loud boom is expected to happen in the final hour of the test, somewhere between 11 a.m. The noise may be alarming to folks, but rest assured, it's a normal outcome of the test we are doing. The more people who are aware that the test is taking place, the more people we can make feel comfortable and bring awareness when we detonate a fusion bomb in their neighborhood. I mean, when we do the test. So that's NASA. What could go wrong, right? I mean, for all we know, they could end up landing on the moon accidentally. So the Medal of Freedom to me is stupid. I don't understand, How do you get a medal for freedom? Like, what do you mean by, I don't even know. It's probably some explanation. It just sounds like really stupid. And we're not gaining freedoms. But anyways, here's JoJo Magoo here.
Welcome to the White House. I know this is it's kind of an old place for some of the guys that come here. But thank you all very much, and to all the cabinet members, elected officials that are here, and former elected officials like Joe Lieberman, and our good friend is here. So many critical people and important people.
Critical people are there.
I want to thank the Vice President Harris, the Second Gentleman, for allowing us to join them. No, for joining us. But it is always a pleasure.
All right, it's already Goose. He means Dougie Fresh, Kamala Harris's husband. And like, listen, they're joining him, and he's saying for letting me join them, right? Are they running? Is Dougie Fresh running things?
Officials like Joe Lieberman, and our good friend is here. So many critical people and important people. I want to thank the Vice President Harris, the Second Gentleman, for allowing us to join them. No, for joining us. But it is always a pleasure when we get to hang out together.
They're hanging out, giving out medals of freedom. Just hanging out, throwing out medals of freedom to very unlikable people.
Monday, we celebrated the independence of our nation. A nation always a work in progress, in creation of possibilities, fulfillment of promises. That's the American story. It's not a simple one.
Repeat the line.
It's never been a simple one, but the 4th of July week reminds us what brought us together long ago and still binds us at our best. we strive for, what we strive for. We, the people, doing what we can to ensure the idea of America.
Again, just not there.
The cause of freedom shines like the sun to light up the future of the world.
That was a horrible line. Whoever a speechwriter is.
That's the soul of our nation.
That's the soul of our nation. It's freedom. Freedom is our soul. Souls are freedom. You know, your soul actually has lots of restrictions. Your soul, to do the right thing, to live in a godly way, you have to forego a lot of choices, right? You have to, whatever.
That's who we are as Americans. And that's what we see. An extraordinary group of Americans up here on this stage that I have the honor to recognize today with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, our nation's highest civilian award.
Highest civilian award. You get the Medal of Freedom. Denzel Washington's sick, so he is not going to be there. He's in my other video. He got COVID.
Simone Biles, the most decorated American gymnast in history, who everyone stops everything every time she was on camera.
What? Everyone stops everything every time while she's on camera? Even the cameraman stopped filming. When she's on camera, everything stops. Time stops. I mean, just listen to what he's saying here. Especially when she quit. Like, it was the best. Everything stopped when she refused to do her job.
Simone Biles, the most decorated American gymnast in history, who everyone stops everything every time she was on camera. Just to watch.
Just to watch, he had to explain that. Especially when she just decided not to do her job and quit. That was the best.
When we see her compete, we see unmatched power and determination, grace and daring. A trailblazer and a role model. When she stands on the podium, we see what she is. Absolute courage.
He's bungling the whole thing here. She got the McTwisties, remember?
Turn personal pain into greater purpose. To stand up and speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. Today, she adds to her medal count of 32. I know you're going to find room.
Where's she going to find room with her medal? She's got too many medals.
32.
She's got to trade one in. We'll take one of her gold medals, and I'll keep that, and she can have this one, because she's got too many.
Olympic and World Championship medals.
Like, America's just gotten really bad. I mean, the Oscars being the worst, the Grammys and the Oscars probably. The Oscars worse than the Grammys. But just, Hollywood's the worst at congratulating itself, but America in general, right? These, I mean, what is this even for? A bunch of civilian people that, achieve something in life, and they give them some goofy medal, right? Like, look at him. Look at his crooked smile.
At age 25, the youngest person ever to receive the Medal of Freedom.
Like, it's almost like one of his eyes has been replaced with a,
There's so much more to give. A fellow...
Yeah, I mean, what, she's going to be an announcer now? Like, it's over, right? Like, that was what she was good at, and she's not going to do it anymore. She might be an announcer, and that, and that's like a, okay, it's okay gig, right?
Elite athlete, Megan Rapinoe.
Where is that Megan Rapinoe? He's got that old man mullet thing working here.
Megan is one of the most accomplished soccer players and the first soccer player to receive the Medal of Freedom.
First soccer player. She gets the Medal of Freedom because she's just so free.
On the World Cup titles and Olympic medals, Megan is a champion for essential American truth that everyone is entitled to be treated with dignity and respect. Everyone.
Woo, except for that Trump character. Like, he's not. Everyone else, dignity and respect, but not Trump.
On along with her incredible teammates of the United States women's national team, and by the way, my son Hunter and daughter-in-law are here. His daughter.
Hunter, is he taking the vacation from impregnating strippers named Dallas that live in Arkansas and smoking crack? Hunter's here. Like, Hunter showed up. He took a break from his regular job of smoking crack and slapping hoes, like, and dropping laptops in the tub, and he's here today.
Was a great high school athlete, and she was so excited to be with you when you won the championship and walking off the field. And we said hi to you. She said, I was busy.
So I think he's saying that him and his granddaughter were watching Megan walk off the field after she won. They said hi to her, and she said to them, I'm busy. Which, his stories suck because it's confusing. I mean, that's what I think he was saying there, but who knows? Like, remember, I've had to translate for JoJo Magoo before. But, is that the respect and dignity she treats everybody with? Hey, I'm busy. Plus, that's his side of the story. Maybe he tried to smell her hair or something. Like, you don't know with JoJo Magoo.
So when she wins again, I hope I see her. She'll say, I think I know that guy. Maybe. It depends. Megan.
I'm Jill's husband.
Did something really consequential. She helped lead the change for perhaps the most important victory for anyone on her soccer team or any soccer team. Equal pay for women. Equal pay for women. And Megan, like Simone, I hope there's room for this medal between all the other awards you and Sue have received during your remarkable careers and your reckless play. I'm watching you.
How big are these medals that he's worried about room? Like, like, can't you just throw it in like any drawer? Like, these medals are so big. I don't know. You guys have got a lot of awards. I don't know. I hope you got room for them.
My Lord, you have such. You are good. Simone and Megan would be the first to acknowledge they stand on the shoulders of those who came before them, like Air Force Colonel Brigadier General retired Wilma Vaughn.
I don't think they even know who that is. I don't. Woo! He's starting to mumble here hard.
Wilma is one of the most decorated women ever to serve in the United States military. She enlisted in the 1950s because she wanted to be a leader. She did that and more, becoming the first woman in almost every leadership role she held in nearly 30 years in uniform, shattering conventions, shaping a new tradition of our military. And she couldn't stop after retirement. She led the creation of the Women's Military Service for America Memorial at the gateway of Arlington National Cemetery.
Boom, she's just been getting it done. What accomplishments. She definitely deserves a Medal of Freedom.
The first museum of its kind, so that we may know.
She's getting a Medal of Freedom for being a woman doing these things, right? That's what he's saying here. That, somebody like this may be accomplished enough, but if she was a man, probably not, right? In terms of, like, they're not going to give every man who rises up through the ranks of the military profession a Medal of Freedom, right? Because she was a woman, she's getting one specifically, not because she's done things that would be considered achievements, but she did them as a woman, right? That's the theme so far.
And be inspired by not just her story, but by the stories of millions of women who serve this nation in uniform. As a 23-year-old student at Fisk University, Diane Nash.
There you go. What do you got there, buddy? He's got in the habit of touching his mask, and now he doesn't have one. He's still touching it.
Received a phone call from Attorney General Robert Kennedy's top deputies, warning her about the violence at the next stop of the Freedom Ride she organized across the South. She replied, and I quote, "We all signed our last will and testament before they left. We know someone will be killed, but we cannot let violence overcome nonviolence."
Wait, so a military person said, we can't allow violence to overcome nonviolence. A person who works for the United States military, which is the most, the greatest military in modern history, that spent more money than any army in any history, that has been in all these illegal wars. I mean, I guess she started here in the 60s. He's talking about when Vietnam was going on, which was a legal war. And she said, as an American military person, we can't allow violence to overcome nonviolence, right? The American military is a violent group, right? America is a violent country. Woo! Woo!
Think of that.
Think of that. Think of that thing. She said some words. And think about what those words meant.
Unmistakable courage and unshakable courage and leadership. Diane Nash shaped some of the most important civil rights efforts in American history. Key architect of the sit-in movement in Nashville. After 4 little girls were murdered at the 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, she called for a non-violent movement across Alabama that planted the seeds that became the Selma campaign 2 years later.
He's barely awake. He's he's lost it. He's just mumbling here.
Her activism echoes the call of freedom around the world today. And yet, she is the first to say the medal is shared with hundreds of thousands of patriotic Americans who sacrificed so much for the cause of liberty and justice for all. And by the way, she asked me to make sure to add that because she didn't want to take all the credit herself.
Whoa, like what the humility. Unbelievable humility. It's just the humility. And she doesn't want to take this medal credit by herself. She's going to get up and let it, it's going to be in her house and around her neck, but, she's sharing it with everyone else.
When Dr. King, Rosa Parks, and Claudette Colvin, and John Lewis, and other giants of our history needed a lawyer for their fight for freedom, you know who they call? They call a guy named Fred Gray.
Ooh, he's there, Fred Gray. Let's go through this a little bit here.
Dream through her and because of her. Other than my family, the biggest impact in my life were the nuns at Holy Rosary and St. Helena's School.
He's got some nuns up there. He's got some nuns. Well, let's hear what he says about the nuns. So he's leaning in here. Let's go back to here. He's going to lean in here, and then we'll listen to the nuns.
Excellence, affirmation, and intellectual curiosity for generations of students, many of the first in their families to go to college, and who see their American dream through her and because of her. Other than my family, the biggest impact in my life were the nuns at Holy Rosary and St. Helena's Schools, the Sisters of St. Joseph in Claymont, Delaware. You think I'm joking? I'm not.
He's not joking. Those nuns, they influence his life.
Nuns never forget a thing. Never. And by the way,
Yeah, they used to beat him senseless because, he's kind of a pervy little kid,
I was doing Villanova's commencement, and one of my nuns from school was getting her doctorate degree. I presented it to her, and she said, it was pretty good, Joe, but she said you instead of me at the time. They taught me in school. They helped me. I used to stutter very badly. They gave me confidence.
By whacking me with a stick.
Confidence that I could do anything. They really did. For so many people and for the nation, Sister Simone Campbell is a gift from God. For the past...
Woo! Okay, so let's get the awards here. Some of these people. There's Simone Biles.
Overcoming great odds, Simone Biles is the most decorated American gymnast in history. A former foster child.
Look, John McCain's widow here is up there. She's snorting some coke. Watch this. Watch this. Let's go back here a second here. At 33 minutes in, she's gonna.
A former foster child.
Boom! I'm gonna snort some coke here.
Who became a once-in-a-generation
boom! All right.
Athlete, transforming her sport.
Give it a little sniff. There you go. Get in there. Get way closer than you have to. Make sure you touch your face. Touch your head with your face. Look at this guy going. That is one creepy MNFer. Like he's. Look at this guy. Yeah, he's perving it up again. They're all looking at him. Get in there. Woo! All right. You did it, woo! Well, this award, where's she gonna put it? She's got too many awards. There's just not enough room. She doesn't have a big enough house for this award. Okay, you did it. Now touch her shoulder. That's creepy. Okay, here's this woman. Like he didn't get all close. He's not putting his face on her head. I'll give it Simone Biles. He's got appropriate distance for her, right? Then Gabby Gifford, she was shot. I don't know. They got to design better clasps. Because JoJo Magoo is struggling. There he goes, getting a little... What was that? That was creepy. Make sure you sniff her hair, JoJo.
Creature at heart who follows the command to hate evil, love good, and establish justice in the game.
He hates evil, he loves good, and he establishes justice. Okay, now this is creepy. What's going on here? You don't need to be that close, bro. Like, oh my God, he's like right up in there, right? Like he's like kissing the back of the guy's head. Look, here he is holding hands with this person. I think it's Steve Jobs' widow.
Phones and revolutionizing our way of life. A true visionary,
Steve Jobs' widow gets her hand held here.
beloved husband and father, Steve Jobs embodied that most American of questions. What's next?
He's just so creepy, JoJo Magoo. This dude, remember, he was his son. Somehow Trump criticized Marine, something to do with the military, remember? And this guy's son died, and he was a featured speaker for Hillary Clinton, who ended up losing that election.
A brilliant lawyer, he watched their 3 sons follow their American dreams, including their middle son, Army Captain Humayun Khan, who enlisted during college and paid the ultimate sacrifice in Iraq. The father of a Gold Star Muslim family, Khizr Khan.
A Gold Star Muslim family. Why are you even saying that, right?
Turned pain into purpose to become a foremost defender of the ideals of our Constitution and the embodiment of its highest ideals.
Like, for this guy, he didn't get in there and get into it. Different spaces for different folks. Megan Rapinoe.
Ourselves and the possibilities of our nation.
Okay, so he's more social distance from her. Right? There's no face to head action, no sniffing her hair. What's he doing back there? He's taking a little too long. No hug for Rodger. No hug. Okay, let's watch Cindy McCain and wrap this thing up here.
U.S. Senate by the people of Arizona and nominated for the presidency by the Republican Party. Respected around the world, he was an eternal optimist who believed in consensus, character, and
He's got her hand here.
Putting country first. His legacy continues to challenge us to cherish integrity and serve with courage and conviction.
Plus, he was quite a singer, I hear. He sang like a bird. This is so creepy. They're gonna have a ghoul off here. Hungarian ghoul off between Cindy McCain and JoJo Magoo. Anyways, like that's just he's so bad, he's so far gone, and it's just become normal. The press won't cover it, and the guy can just, what is it going to take for them to say, all right, he's gone, like he can't do it mentally anymore? I guess they'll just disappear and he won't show up at any events. But anyways, the economy's collapsing and things aren't going to get better. So JoJo Magoo's time as president is, his days are numbered. And I just want to add this, wrap this video up. But John McCain lost to JoJo Magoo and Barack Obama, right? John McCain was running against them. They were competing. Lieberman, who's there, Joe Lieberman, who was, that JoJo Magoo pointed out, there was some thought that he would run with JoJo Magoo. Of course, picked Sarah Palin. With John McCain, right? But they're in such a club, right? Now, Trump was never part of that club, which is, why they, come out against him so much. Not that Trump was great or not that Trump was, some kind of a truther or any of these things. But Trump certainly wasn't a part of that club and didn't come from that club. Like Lindsey Graham is a part of that club, right? But JoJo Magoo is, acknowledging all these people. All these people are, they're a part of the agenda. They're part of the, this whole, whatever we see the beast rolling out here. I talk about this more extensively in my other video today on apocalaughsnow, so I'm not going to cover it here. But anyways, about the beastly system. Anyways, only spirituality will save this world. Only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely a point from the Apocalaughs and the Ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.